What if the real reason you haven't changed your life yet isn't that you're lazy, unmotivated, or undisciplined? What if the real reason is that you haven't been trying to change your life in a way that was almost guaranteed to fail from the beginning? Honestly, this is something I was struggling with for years. I would have this moments where I felt incredibly motivated, usually after watching a self-improvement video, reading something inspiring, or having one of the late night I need to change my life altogether kind of thoughts. I would open my notes app, create the perfect life plan, write down 10 new habits I was going to start, and convince myself that this was it. This was the week I become completely different person. Suddenly I was going to wake up at 5 in the morning, work out every day, journal, meditate, read 30 pages, drink a gallon of water, stop using social media, eat perfect, and somehow become the most disciplined person on the earth. And honestly, for about 3 days, it actually works. And then somehow by Thursday, I was back in the bed scrolling on my phone, eating snacks at the midnight, and telling myself it's okay, I would restart on Monday. If you have been done that too, welcome to the club. I think most people have had this 5 different life-changing Mondays in their life at least. Hi everyone, welcome back to the Growth Chapter. If you're new here, this channel is all about self-improvement, mindset, psychology, discipline, and rebuilding your life from scratch, step by step. And if you have been following this life transformation series, first of all, thank you so much for being here. In episode 1, we did a life audit and got honest about where we are in life. And in episode 2, we talked about visualization and creating a clear vision for the person we want to become. And in episode 3, which was last week, we focused on building a morning routine, because how you start your day often shapes how you live your life. But today, I want to talk about something that honestly might be the most important piece of the puzzle, because none of these things matter if you cannot be consistent. Today, we are talking about why so many people keep starting over and how to finally build the habit that actually sticks. For the longest time, I thought I had a motivation problem. I thought maybe successful people are just more disciplined than me. Maybe they woke up every morning excited to do the hard things. Maybe they naturally enjoyed exercising, reading, working on their goals, and staying focused. But the more I learned about the psychology and habits, the more I realized that wasn't the truth. Most successful people don't rely on the motivation, they rely on the systems. Because motivation is kind of like your phone battery. Someday it's at 100 and you feel like you can conquer the world. And other day it feels like a 12%, and suddenly even replying to a text message feels like a major life challenging task. If your entire life depends on motivation, you're going to struggle, because motivation comes and goes. What actually changes people is learning how habit works. One thing that's really interesting is that your brain loves habits. In fact, your brain is constantly trying to automate your behaviors. It wants to save energy whenever and wherever it can. That's why you don't have to think about how to brush your teeth, tie your shoes, drive to work, or unlock your phone. Your brain has repeated this action so many times that they happen almost automatically now. And honestly, sometimes that automation gets a little scarier. Have you ever open your Instagram, scroll for a few minutes, close the app, and then open somehow again after 2 minutes? I have definitely done that. It's like my thumb had made the decision before my brain ever did. That's the power of habits, though. The problem is that your brain doesn't really care whether a habit is helping you or hurting you. It only cares whether it's familiar or not. Familiar feels safe. Familiar requires less energy, and that's why change feels like a difficult task. And this is where most people accidentally sabotage themselves and their habits. They try to change everything at once. They treat self-improvement like they are renovating an house in one weekend. They want a better morning routine, better fitness, better nutrition, better sleep, better focus, better productivity, better confidence, and better mindset, all at the same time. And while the intention is still good, the execution usually isn't sustainable. Your brain sees all those changing at once and immediately wants to return to what feels comfortable, not because you're weak, not because you're lazy or anything, but because your brain is trying to protect what feels familiar. That's why the first step I want to take is incredibly simple. Just pick one habit, just one. I know that sounds almost too simple. You might be thinking, that's it? But honestly, that's exactly why it works. Most people underestimate what they can accomplish through one habit repeated consistently and overestimate what they can accomplish through 10 habits starting all at once. Okay, think about it this way. If I handed you 10 books and told you to read them all at the same time, you'd probably get overwhelmed and finish none of them. But if I handed you one book and said, just focus on this, and suddenly it becomes manageable. The same thing applies to your personal growth. Just pick one habit that would have the biggest positive impact over your life right now. The second step is where psychology comes in. Make the habit ridiculously easy. And I mean it. Just make it as ridiculously easy as you can. If your goal is to read every day, don't start with 30 pages. Start with 1 page every day. If your goal is to work out, don't start with an hour-long workout. Start with 5 minutes. If your goal is to journal, don't commit to writing 3 pages every morning. Just few sentences. Just write down few sentences every morning. The reason why this works is because of something psychologists call activation energy. The harder something is to start, the less likely you're going to do it. Most of the time, the hardest part isn't the habit itself. It's getting started. Once you have started, continuing becomes much more easier. For example, let's say your goal is to become someone who exercises regularly. Most people think they need to start with an intense workout. But imagine, instead of that, your only goal is putting on your workout clothes and doing 5 minute movement. That's it, 5 minutes. Some days you will stop after 5 minutes. The other days you want to keep going for 20-30 minutes because you have already started it. But either way, you win because you're trying to build it with the consistency. And the third step is something called habit stacking. This is one of the easiest way to make a habit stick because you're attaching it to something you're already doing. And instead of trying to remember a completely new behavior, connect it to an existing routine. For example, after I brush my teeth, I will go and journal for 5 minutes. After I make my morning coffee, I will read 1 page. After I get out of bed, I will drink a glass of water. Your brain already has a pathway for the existing habit, so you're simply adding a new behavior into something that's already automatic. The fourth step is probably one of the biggest mindset shift I have ever learned. Stop expecting perfection. Seriously, perfection is the fastest way to destroy your progress. I used to think that if I missed one day, I had failed. If I skipped one workout, suddenly I felt like I wasn't disciplined anymore. If I missed one morning routine, I felt like I was back to the square one. But honestly, when you think about it, it's kind of ridiculous. Imagine brushing your teeth every day for 6 months, missing one day, and then you're saying, wait, I guess I am not the person who brushed my teeth. That would sound so crazy, yet we do the same thing with our habits all the time. One missed day doesn't ruin your progress. What it matters is what happens next. One of my favorite rules is something called never miss twice. If you missed a habit today, that's okay. Life happens. Maybe you're tried, maybe you're busy, maybe something unexpected comes up. But don't miss it tomorrow. The goal isn't perfection. The goal is returning again and again, because consistency isn't about never falling off the track. It's about getting back to the track quickly as you can. And finally, I want to talk about something that completely changed the way I view personal growth, so much on the result, and start focusing on your identity. Most people say things like, I want to lose weight, I want to be productive, I want to be confident. Those are outcomes, but the outcomes don't create behaviors. Identity creates behavior. So instead of saying, I want to work out, start thinking it as, I am becoming someone who takes care of my health. Instead of saying, I want to read more, think, I am becoming someone who learns every day. That matters, because every action you take is a vote for the person you're becoming. Every workout is a vote for being healthy. Every page you read is a vote for being a learner. Every promise you keep to yourself is a vote of becoming someone you can trust. And honestly, I think this is what life transformation really looks like. Social media makes it seem like people wake up one day and completely change their lives. But real transformation is usually much less drastic. It's drinking water when you feel like having a soda. It's taking the walk when you rather stay on the couch. It's reading one page when you don't feel like reading. It's showing up for yourself on ordinary days when nobody's watching you. That's where change happens. If there is one thing I hope you take away from this episode, it's this. Just stop trying to change your entire life overnight. You don't need to have a new life tomorrow. You need one small promise that you can keep with yourself today. Then another one for tomorrow. Then another one for the next day. Because your future isn't built during your most motivated movement. It's built during ordinary movement, like small habits, small choices, small action repeated consistently over time. So here is your challenge. Don't leave this episode and create a list of 20 new habits. Don't try to reinvent yourself overnight. Instead, choose one habit, make it ridiculously easy, attach it with something you already do, and consistently focus on it, because that's how real transformation happens. Not overnight, but slowly enough for it to last. And if you enjoyed this episode, please make sure you subscribe to the channel and join me for the next part of the life transformation series. We are not trying to be perfect here. We are trying to be better, one step at a time. So thank you so much for listening to me today, and I will see you in the next episode. Till then, bye.